Welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Our objective is to enthuse, inspire, energize, and empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes here in BW and beyond. We do so by inviting these entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs into our makeshift studio. Sometimes we call them to the restaurant, sometimes we go to our studio, and we ask them to share their experiential knowledge, their experiences and their expertise, and we ask them as many questions as we can, aimed at empowering you also as a viewer. Hello dear listener, dear viewer, my name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Welcome to yet another episode of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. As always, we try to bring you informative and impactful content each and every time, something that you can use in your life, especially as an entrepreneur. I have a great guest. All my guests are great, by the way. I have Mr. Mmualefe, Victor Mmualefe, who's going to talk to us about digital transformation and issues relating to that subject. Can you please introduce yourself formally, tell Botswana who you are, where you come from, sir?
Okay. Like you stated, my name is Victor Mmualefe. I'm the founder and director of PHATSHIMA TUTIONS. By qualifications, I studied bachelor's degree in business administration from the University of Botswana. I also have certificate of proficiency in robotics and coding with the electrical engineer, certificate in business basics with Ubuntu Equity, and other various certificates. I also have another certificate from Asian Development Institute, which is a certificate that deals with leveraging on services for development.
Okay, that's quite an interesting CV, but let's just focus on the one on robotics. What is that certificate about? What are you able to do with robotics?
Okay, well, robotics basically it's about the ability to make machines to carry out certain functions. If you command a robot to light green, yellow, that is robotics. If maybe you command your phone to switch off, to switch on, that's robotics. So usually when you talk of robotics, people start to think of big things, but they live with robotics on daily basis. So that's basically it with robotics. So I'm a robotics trainer, again for young kids, that is between the age of 12 to 18 years. So basically we encourage young kids to get into the robotics field.
Okay, we're going to talk about incorporating technology into learning, especially for an indigenous Motswana. That is the subject we're going to discuss.
Yes.
Could you explain this topic and its importance?
Well, this topic is really relevant in the sense that in our setup, we don't use technology that much. We are still trying to migrate to a level where now we can use technology, but we are still again stuck to the old systems, to the traditional ways of education. By that I mean we still believe in personal interaction. We believe that a classroom is a system whereby now a tutor or a teacher will stand before you and then they teach you. That is how we see a classroom set up. And another thing, we still believe that technology is expensive, which is again debatable. So we don't want to use technology for learning per se, and we prefer, in an African setup, to an indigenous Motswana, we prefer a system whereby a tutor stands before you. And so it's very important to discuss this topic so that we can see how far we have gone as a country, maybe to digitalize education, and what needs to be done, what are the challenges.
Okay, you have one of the Botswana's tuition centers. Explain what your tuition center is called and what its main objectives are.
Well, our tuition center is called PHATSHIMA TUTIONS. We are based in Mogodisane, Khabane, Kanye. We retail revision materials, that is, we sell books. We also have mobile app which supports e-learning. Then we also do home tuitions across the city and also offer office-based tutorials. So that's basically it about us.
Okay. What is the niche that you were looking for? What is the gap in the market that you are trying to fill?
Yes. Our niche market, we focus mainly on supplementing students. By supplementing students, we mean those who are rewriting, as those who maybe failed to make it in the first time. Now they're coming to rewrite again. That is our niche market, and most of our clients, they come from that market.
Okay. So what are platform nodes? Because you mentioned to me as we were prepping that you deal with platform nodes.
Okay. Well, we have few things. One, we have what we call Blackboard. Blackboard is a system of learning whereby the tutor can interact with the student by the use of technology. Send the student notes, send tutorial videos, send reports, send tests online, or even take tests online. So that's it. In fact, that's what we call e-learning. So that's what we use most of the time. And this is, I think, this is the main thing that we can really talk about in relation to our topic.
So when you say platform notes that can be downloaded,
yes, they can.
You are referring to, is it books, or what form is that?
Well, they can be downloaded. We can download them, can view them online. Even the videos, you can even download them and watch them at your own time.
Okay.
Yes.
And currently, you can be reached how? How does one get in touch with you?
Okay. Well, you can reach us through our website, PHATSHIMA.com. You can sign up there. You can request a tutor there. You can even use it to log into our online platforms, our e-learning platforms. It will direct you to everything there.
Okay. And the other thing I'm learning is that COVID has thrust you up there. It has boosted your sales, so to speak. Tell us about that experience.
Well, that's true. It has. But I think we have learned a lot more than just sales. COVID taught us a lot. Not only us, but even our clients, about the need to shift from the traditional way of doing education and now to a digitalized way, because somehow it forced us to change the way we've been teaching our students. During that period, we are forced now to effectively use our online platforms, our e-learning platforms. So, well, apart from that, yes, it has positively impacted us because most parents, they were scared, most clients, they were scared, and they had to bring students for tutorials.
And how have the numbers looked like? I'm just trying to think of the whole country being shut down. Are you targeting students in the private schools and also in government schools? And how has it looked like? How the numbers look like for you?
Okay. Well, in comparison with the previous year, to make it easy, well, I think we managed to increase our enrollment by almost 60% from the previous year. So it was a good year in all levels, from PSLE, JC, IGCSE, and BGCSE. Yes. Well, initially we were targeting government schools, but we have now managed to penetrate into the private schools. Yes.
So who provides the curricula, and how do you then convert that curriculum or curricula into, digestible bits for digital purposes?
Okay.
Can you tell us the process?
Well, the first thing I should emphasize that we do work with schools, government schools. We have partnerships with schools. Like in 2019, we signed a partnership with Sepapito Senior, where we tutor their top 23. So most of the time, we hold workshops together. We sit down and we come up with ways however we can improve the way we deliver our material. When they have workshops, they invite us. So that's how we usually keep up to date with the curriculum, by engaging the schools that we work with. We also, like last year, we worked with schools like Mogobe Senior. We also worked with schools like Nugget Junior. So we do have partnerships with different schools. It makes it easy for us now to break down the syllabus, to break down the curriculum. So that's the first thing that we do. Then we have a team of tutors who are qualified with the right skills and knowledge, who even helped us to develop the digital system that we use. It was developed internally within.
You talk about the app.
Yes, the app and everything. So after maybe sitting down with schools and everything, those are the ones that we work with now to make that information digital.
Okay, tell us about the workbook. You know, you said that the initial response was that it was expensive. Whose brainchild was it, and why was it deemed to be expensive?
Well, what people deemed expensive to use was actually our mobile app over our workbook. Yes, but actually our workbook was expensive instead of our mobile app. Because our mobile app, due to COVID, we played our part and we said, no, everyone can just use it. You just need to contact us, then we give you the details on how to sign up and everything. Yes, but then there was a turnaround as compared to our workbook. Then at the same time, we released a workbook where we said, no, now students, they can study on their own to help them during that 3 months that they are home. Yes.
Okay. Tell me, if you're talking about developing an app, how difficult is it, and how was it for you to come up with your own app and really digitize your...
Well, like I said, we have a team of brilliant tutors. One of our staff members called Mr. Joseph Loiti. Mr. Joseph Loiti, who is also our quality controller. He took a course in software development, yes, because he wanted to do this, but he wanted someone within to do it for us. Yes, then I will give him that opportunity to go and do that course, and he developed it. Yes.
And how has been the response from your customers?
The response has been good. Actually, even our clients, because some of them, they are into the corporate world, they have even requested that we need people who assisted with that to come and assist us here with the same app to push our businesses the other side.
For someone who's totally green, maybe a little bit like me, can you explain a virtual classroom? What is it? What animal is it, and how does it work in practice?
How does it work? Well, first I must state that, well, it's just a normal classroom. There's nothing fancy about it. You interact with your tutor the way you interact with your tutor. But it has many advantages to it. Because in a visual classroom now, we are saying, while talking to you one-on-one like this is good, is fine. But there are chances that after we part, maybe you forgot something. But with a visual classroom, it will allow you to probably go and visit that tutorial session again. By a visual classroom, we are saying, instead of having a pile of books and books and books when you're doing research, well, now you just need your phone, your internet to sit down. So it saves time from having to travel from library to library, searching for books and everything. Everything now you can get it as a copy, sit down and use it. We are saying with the visual classroom, you can interact even with other learners that are in different locations. Maun, Kasane, you can even form a study group together. Yes, so that's basically it about a visual classroom. Where it's a normal classroom with more benefits and more advantages. That's how I will define it.
Perhaps we should talk about advantages. The one that comes to mind is obviously minimum interaction, and during this time of COVID,
yes,
minimum chances of transmission of the virus. But beyond that, what other advantages would you talk about?
Well, the first advantage that I can talk about is research. Like I've been mentioning, that it allows you to carry research with ease, without losing much of your time. So it somehow saves resources. Another advantage that we can talk about is that it allows you to study, or as a tutor, to develop different models that will help you or to explain your content to your students. because with visual kind of classroom, you are able to come up maybe with charts that you can use. You can make you know, there are many things that you can make out of it, presentation tables and everything. So there are many things that you can make out of it. So in fact, it makes learning more interesting and fun again.
Is it, what, does it take the form of a series of PowerPoint presentations, or how does it, what form does it take?
Well, it can take any form. If you talk about PowerPoint presentation, that's part of a visual classroom setup kind of. Yes.
Okay, so you incorporate that aspect as well.
Yes, because it's all about incorporating technology. So it depends on the kind of technology that you opt to use.
Okay, let's talk about buy-in. To what extent are people buying in? The idea of discarding the book, discarding the pen and paper, that transition, is it not difficult for Motswana SK to adjust to learning without a pen?
Well, it's actually difficult. There is that challenge. Most people, they're not comfortable with it. So I think that's what we need to really work on. And Indigenous Motswana, most of the time they believe that it's expensive, of which is not. Indigenous Motswana believe that to say you've been tutored, you need to have sat down with someone like this and do it. So they believe it's complicated, it needs a lot of things and everything, but that's not the case. So yes, Motswana, they're slow into adopting it, but I can say COVID really helped because it pushed them into a corner to explore it. Yes.
So it was both a curse and a blessing.
Yes.
Like I say. And what is your company doing to change this perception and to overcome the resistance?
Okay. Well, one, by the beginning of next year, our students will be offering free tabs to our students when they register for tuition.
Free what?
Tablets. Yes, when registering for tuition.
Wow, that's a very interesting announcement. Free tablets, hey.
Yes, so the reason why we want them to have tablets and use them, we want them to, then we'll start using it. Now they will be forced in a corner to use it. You can say, I don't have it. Yes, but then if you have a tablet then everything, then you have a chance to exploit and start using it. Yes, then you are likely to adopt it because you have tried it and you've seen that this is just the basic thing. Then another thing is just education. Like we try our level best to try to teach people about the importance of now of using technology, transforming our classrooms and everything. So those are the two main things that we really try to do.
You and your company, when you came up with this this model, this e-learning system, were you benchmarking from any country or from any company?
Well, like I stated before, I'm part of Dare to Dream Again.
Dare to Dream Again.
Dare to Dream, yes. So initially it was an aviation movement, but basically it's a STEM movement. It encourages people to learn STEM fields. By STEM fields, I mean science, technology, engineering,
and
mathematics. Yes. Well, I think the whole idea came from there. Yes, because that's basically what we do at Dare to Dream, to encourage people to adopt technology.
Well, explain to people about that organization. Where does one find it and where is it operating from?
Okay, well, it operates from Botswana Innovation Hub under the stewardship of Captain PHATSHIMA. Yes.
Okay, Captain PHATSHIMA. You said the company is called?
Dare to Dream.
No, but your company is called?
PHATSHIMA TUTIONS.
Yeah, is there a connection there?
Well,
Captain
she
PHATSHIMA.
happens, she's my mentor actually, but with the name it just happened. Then we met and it was PHATSHIMA.
It's a coincidence that you used your mentor's name to name your company.
Yes.
But I'm sure she didn't object because it's promoting her as well.
Yes.
Okay, so what then is your relationship with Botswana Innovation Hub?
Well, Botswana Innovation Hub, like we said, actually the course in software development and software development, it was hosted at Botswana Innovation Hub. It's the home of Dare to Dream Again, like I stated. Yes. So it's helpful in terms of trying to promote young people or young companies that are willing to change the setup and make people adopt the use of technology and digitalization, not only in education but also in other forms of businesses. Yes.
Okay. Now let's take the conversation a little bit further. Is the internet really expensive? I've heard a lot of people saying, for instance, YouTube, because we are on YouTube, is inaccessible because it's too expensive, and I do not know to what extent you depend on internet for your services. But I want us to really unpack this question. Is the internet in Botswana too expensive?
Well, I think the internet, I mean, is very cheap. I know it's strange to hear someone say that, but the internet is very cheap. The problem with most people is priorities. Yes, because like I said, let me just give you figures. Our workbook, it costs around 250, but people prefer to buy it over the use of internet. When you use the internet to access the same material that's in there, you need a subscription of around 5 pula. So and then get it for free, because you can actually download it and study later. Yes, but people prefer to go and buy the workbook. See, so the internet is not expensive. It's an issue of education. People's mindsets need to be changed. Yes. Then, well, I think we have affordable packages, internet packages, that allows us to access internet. Even we should.
Why do people perceive it to be expensive?
Oh, well.
Where is the misconception?
Where is the misconception? I think everything that comes outside, when something starts, there's always resistance. So it's a normal thing that happens every time. But with time, I think people will start to adopt it and admit that it's not expensive. More so that our government introduced free internet in Gaborone. Probably then perception of
Tell us about that. Is it free, 100% free?
Yes, it's 100% free.
Since when?
I think we have about a week now or two.
So I should stop subscribing to Mascom and to BTC and so on?
Well, I can't say stop subscribing because they will help me. But
if it's free, then it means.
But I think another challenge which I know obviously we're going to face is the issue of traffic. Yes. So if you run a business, it's good to have your own internet, so that you're not disturbed.
So the free internet is slow.
Well,
have you tried it?
It's kind of slow.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
They're still going to. Is it still teething problems?
I believe so. I believe they will improve it with time.
Okay. Now, what can we do to change our perception of technology? You've covered a little bit of that. And then what are the main limitations to an ordinary Motswana? I'm thinking here in terms of people who are more akin towards the arts, people who are more akin towards using their hands. Are those not going to have a greater challenge learning through internet when the practical aspect? For instance, let's talk about a carpenter. You cannot. Don't you see some challenges there? And if so, how can those be addressed?
Well, let's use the example that you gave of a carpenter. Maybe you're in business and you're doing carpentry. The internet is an advantage, but again, of course, it can be a disadvantage. But there's always something that you can pick from something. For example, these days, the form of marketing which is most popular is online marketing. So that's one thing that you can use to get your clients. So it allows you to target people across the country, and it is even less expensive again to market and to advertise online. Yes, so there's always an advantage to everything. What we are saying here, we're not saying replace everything that you do with technology, but we are saying how can you benefit from technology?
To enhance what you're doing.
Yes, to enhance what you're doing. So technology is not here to replace what you have been doing, but it's here to help us to improve the way we've been doing it, to bring some efficiency into it.
Okay. All right. Now, as we move forward, there are things like 5G, there are things like 4IR, which is a generic term to cover all these things.
Yes.
What are your views on these new things with numbers on them?
Well, the fourth industrial revolution, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Well, I think we should all try to move there. My average perception concerning these things is that they've come to make our lives much more easier and to save us time, to save us resources. So I definitely encourage people to adopt it. That's my view on them, yes.
Do you see it happening 5 to 10 years from now where we will no longer need physical classrooms and we'll no longer need physical schools and all the learning will go online? Is that a possibility?
Well, not 10 years, but I see it happening in the future. Probably maybe 20 years from now. Because right now you can take courses online. Yes. The other certificate that I spoke about, Asian Development Institute, I did it online.
What is that about?
Well, it's about taking advantage of everything around you in order to just to improve development of the country. Yes. So even the certificate, to get it online. This year, for the first time ever, we had an announcement from the University of Motswana that they will carry their graduation online. Yes. So I believe we are going there.
Okay.
We might be in denial, but we are going there. Every day we are taking a step towards there.
Okay.
So a time will come where by now we won't really need physical classrooms.
Okay.
Yes.
You want to say something about 5G, or that one is beyond you?
Well, there's been a lot of debate around it. There's been a lot of debate around 5G, but it's a good development. People should not be scared. People should not be scared.
It doesn't have the negative side.
No.
I see. Depends who you ask, I suppose. All right. Mr. Mmualefe, as we come to the end of our conversation together, you have a chance to ask me any question you wish to ask. It's a new feature we've introduced. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Just one question.
Just one question. Well, my question will be, I think I'm interested in knowing, for your line of business, well, I've read about some people who have been benefited from COVID and some who were crushed by COVID, to say. But I think I'm just interested in knowing how you have survived it and what advice can you give to a small startup like us?
Yes, I think the idea of being versatile, the idea of being nimble, the idea of being adaptable is what comes out of COVID if we are going to survive.
Yes.
Some of our businesses have been decimated. The restaurant business, for obvious reasons, has really suffered a big blow. And then, of course, the other business that has suffered was the legal side, by virtue of it being closed. But overall, we've been affected the same way as the rest of the economy. And my view is that as long as you are resilient and as long as you are forward-looking, you will get through it. There are certain projects that we had to scale back. For instance, we had a project where we wanted to grow our footprint here in the CBD. We've had to shelve it completely. On the acquisition side, the rate at which we're acquiring new assets, new properties, we've had to slow that down considerably. Whereas we were thinking of being able to acquire every other month, we're now acquiring at the rate of maybe once in 6 months. So the trajectory of the company in terms of the growth plans that we had to slow down and we had to scale down considerably. But I'm an eternal optimist, as I've told a previous guest, and I certainly believe and hope that come 2021, we will sail again up. I accept the words of Jack Ma. Jack Ma says we should all forget about 2020. He says we should just focus on survival. So we're focused on surviving 2020 and hoping that things will pick up in 2021. You answered?
I'm fully answered.
Okay.
Yes.
As we part, I would like for you to look at the camera, that one, and talk to the viewer and say something about your company, and then obviously leave the viewer with something inspirational, something motivational that they can take home.
Yes. Well, what I can say to the viewers back home is, well, COVID has really forced us to change the way we view life and the way we do lives. And I believe the best way to survive COVID is to try to change the way we do things now. The primary thing that we need to change is how we perceive technology, how we perceive digitalization of everything. And we should start adopting it and using it in different fields. So that's my advice to the audience. Now, to reach us at PHATSHIMA Tuitions, like I said, you can visit us on our website, PHATSHIMAtuitions.com. Another thing, you can contact any of our branches, but our main office, 77489863. That's the main number that you can reach. Well, everyone is obviously worried about their child's performance in these exams. Even for next year, we are saying, be our guest. Let us help you. Let us help your child. It's still possible. We are known for producing stars. We produce stars out of your child. So thanks a lot.
Okay. Well, let me thank you, sir, for taking the time out of your very busy schedule. You did say your mom is unwell.
Yes.
Notwithstanding that, you made sure that you come to our studio and that you shared your wisdom with us. And we hope that when we invite you back some time from now, as your company keeps growing from strength to strength, you will honor our invitation.
I will definitely. Thanks a lot for the opportunity. Okay. I highly appreciate.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
You're welcome.
Yes,
okay.